ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies and gents, I need y'all to work with me for a second because I promise you after you see this video, if you got a mortgage, if you got a student loan, if you got a car loan, you'll have the one argument that will kill all of the stupidity. I keep telling you guys that my job was to solve the puzzle for you, but I couldn't give you all of the pieces at one time because that wouldn't be fair. So the first thing we're going to do, this is section 414 of Title 12. Pay attention. 12 USC 414. We're going to go to 412 first because you guys need to know what's going on. Pay attention. 412, application for notes. So you are applying for Federal Reserve notes. That's all you got to do is focus on. If you got a car loan, student loan, or a home loan, it was acquiring Federal Reserve notes. You were applying for the advancement of Federal Reserve notes. We already determined that the word any is a negative determiner. Look it up. General principles of statutory interpretation. Pay attention. General principles of statutory interpretation. Look it up, Google it. Anytime a statute has a word that is undefined by the statute, the normal meaning of the word shall apply. Did a video yesterday from beginning to end. Pay attention, from beginning to end and to beginning. I never lose it because I know about winning. That is my boy, come on, Kango Kid from UTFO Roxanne. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, from beginning to end, this is from the end to the beginning. Pay attention. Any is a negative determiner. A determiner, negative or positive, always precedes a pronoun and or a noun. Wait, hold on. No, we got to do this. Hold on. Stop listening. I need you guys to see the basics in English comprehension. That's right. We took a class in high school when I was growing up called English comprehension. Pay attention. A negative or positive determiner always precedes a noun or a pronoun, comma, can you please show me where this rule may be found? Question mark. Stop listening. Determiners such as the, a, and, or these or does are used to introduce a specific noun. For example, a sentence, I don't want any more cake, is a negative determiner. Any precedes the pronoun more and the adverb now. In contrast, the sentence, this is my favorite book, is a positive determiner. This precedes the verb and the pronoun my, blah, blah. Therefore, the placement of the determiner can vary depending on the context and the structure of the sentence, and there is no fixed rule that mandates their order with noun. Oh, it's supposed to be noun and pronoun. Okay, watch this. Wake up. I'm sorry. Wake up. Wake up. I'm sorry, comma, that was now. And pronoun, and how a noun and a pronoun must be preceded by a positive or negative determiner. And if it's not preceded by a positive and negative determiner, such as at the beginning of a sentence, comma, then the context determines, question mark. Stop listening. The answer to your question is more directive. There is no grammar rule that states that a noun, see it says now, N-O-W. I said N-O-U-N. Answer your question more directly. There's no grammar rule that states that a noun and a pronoun is always to be determiners of any word to modify or reduce nouns, to modify or introduce nouns, and they can appear before a noun or a pronoun in a sentence to specify or limit their meaning. Then you just told me what the rule is, you ignorant mother. Whew! The presence or absence of a determiner before A noun or a pronoun can depend on various factors such as the context, the speaker's intent, or the grammatical structure of the sentence. Now, watch this. Sorry that you guys have to go to English class, but hold on. Let's make sure that y'all understand what's going on here. How are you going to understand statutory interpretation if you don't understand the basic structures of grammar and how grammar is used? The rule that a negative or positive determiner always precedes a noun or a pronoun can be found in various grammar resources that discuss determiners. For example, uh, and all provide information on determiners and their placement. They clarify what a noun refers to and specifies quantity. Use of determiners is essential in the construction of grammatically correct sentences. Hold on, told y'all. I know what I was talking about. I didn't just make this up, people. I told you I learned this stuff. I done learned it. This. Now watch it correct itself. Thank you for the additional information. While it is true that determiners typically come from before nouns, there is no grammatical rule that requires the positive and negative determiners to always precede a noun or pronoun. I didn't say that. Okay, determiners can clarify or specify. So, ladies and gentlemen, any is a determiner, but it's a negative determiner, not a positive determiner, because it can mean many, one, or any other. So, because it's a negative determiner, let's go back to the rule. Any Federal Reserve Bank means any bank. When you look at the Presidential Proclamation 2039 and the Check 21 Act of 2003, under the definition section, which is section number 3, it says that a bank is any person engaged in the business of banking. Okay, the same as Presidential Proclamation 2039. As used in this order, the term banking institution shall include any bank or persons engaged in the business of banking or in banking business. When you're getting a loan from a bank, that's called banking business. You're doing business with a bank. Follow that. So any bank may make an application to the local Federal Reserve agent. That's why you have to apply for a loan. Application. That's why you have to application for a loan. You have to apply for a loan. You get that so far? Thank you. Now, hold on. Such applications shall be accompanied with a tender. Tender is always payment. How do we know it's payment? Why? Because it's collateral and security. Hold on. Let's check that out. Federal Reserve notes thus apply for pursuant to such application. The collateral security thus offered shall be notes, draft, bills of exchange, or acceptances as acquired under the section. Don't worry about all these sections because these sections ain't the law. These sections ain't the law. This is added stuff. That's why you don't follow the code, because this is not in the statute at large. If it's not in the statute at large, you can ignore that junk. So ignore all of this junk right here. You see, it doesn't say 13 or 14, and the original didn't say 13 or 14 either. It said 13 only. Section 13. So let's continue so that you guys understand where we're going, because if you didn't know where we were going, you're going to get it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to pay attention to this. If you didn't pay attention to anything else I've said thus far, then you're not going to get this. But if you paid attention, even if you are a 5-year-old, you're going to get this. The Federal Reserve Board of Governors have the authority and they shall have the right to act through the Federal Reserve agent. So the agent is an agent of the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve operates through the Federal Reserve agent. To grant in whole or in part or to reject entirely the application for Federal Reserve banks for Federal Reserve notes. Okay, so you get that. They can reject your application. Nope, sorry, you're not approved. You guys have heard that before, right? You're not approved. But each of you that have a mortgage, you have proof that your application was approved by the Federal Reserve. Yay! That's a victory! You were approved by the Federal Reserve! Well, what does that mean? That means that you don't owe a dime. What? Well, let me show you why. The Federal Reserve local agent gave an extension of credit. Look at your Truth in Lending Act statement. Look at your Truth in Lending Act statement. The Federal Reserve gave you, the Federal Reserve agent, the local Federal Reserve agent, gave an extension of credit. Look at the Truth in Lending Act statement. You got an extension of credit. So let's find out because they gave you something. Now you got to pay something back. You received something. That's called give and take, acceptance and blah, 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 offer and acceptance. So, okay, you received something, so you must give something. Watch this. But to the extent that such application may be granted by the Board of Governors, approved, shall be approved by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. It shall, through its local agent, supply Federal Reserve notes to the bank so applying. Well, operating circular number 10 for the Federal Reserve, section 3 specifically says that they are operating as your attorney in fact to get that loan for you. And because they get that loan for you, they are reimbursed when they receive the notes because you never receive it. So you don't owe them anything because there is satisfaction and accord. Why? Because it was approved. Now you can apply this section because your loan was approved. You have proof that it was approved. And because your loan, just write a letter to the bank and ask them, what was my loan approval date? Please, can you tell me that? That's all you got to write them. Now you go into court and say, oh, wait a minute, they already been paid. Why? Because the Federal Reserve shall, through the local Federal Reserve agents, supply the Federal Reserve notes to the bank so applying. And such bank shall be charged with the amount of the notes issued to it and shall pay such a rate of interest as may be established by the Board of Governors. You don't owe anything because the government backed your loan. That's why they received the Federal Reserve notes. The notes are issued in exchange for promissory notes, drafts, bills of exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, give me a second. What you all did not know is this was from a speech given by Mr. Louis McFadden. Louis McFadden gave this speech in 1932 in the month of June. Under the new law, the money is issued to the banks in return for government obligations, bills of exchange, drafts, notes, trade acceptances, and bankers' acceptances. So when you, pay attention, give the bank the promissory note, they receive the new money according to section 412. That's where it is codified, people. And guess what? This speech given here was given by a different congressman. This congressman right here, his name was Patman. Mr. Patman also repeated the same thing on the floor as was given by, pay attention, Louis McFadden, okay, on the Committee of Financing. Louis McFadden, very, very, very great man, in my opinion. Hold on now. Need you to pay attention. Ladies and gentlemen, Section 412 is proof that they received Federal Reserve notes. Because why? Your loan was under the Federal Reserve Act and nothing else. So because your loan was under the Federal Reserve Act and they're following the Federal Reserve Act, there's your proof that you don't owe a dime. So challenge them. Put the code before them, 412, 411, and tell them Federal Reserve Operating Circular number 10, appendix section number 3. Tell them to state emphatically and under oath that that was not the case, and you will by all means continue to pay that debt. Do it with your student loans, your car loans, and any other loan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't say that you ain't never been given anything. And when I told you from beginning to end, hey, Kango!
Mr. Sophisticator, as far as I know, ain't nobody greater from beginning to end and to beginning.
I never lose because I know about winning. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a good day. That's UTFO with Roxanne, and the late, great Kango Kid. There you are. Have a good day, everyone.